From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Officials in Jordan are investigating a shooting at the country's border crossing with the West Bank. 3 people were killed in what Israeli officials say appears to be an attack linked to the 11-month-old war in Gaza. The officials say the 3 victims were Israeli civilians, while first responders add that they were all men in their 50s. In Gaza, meanwhile, an Israeli airstrike early this morning killed 5 people, including 2 women, 2 children, and a senior official in the civil defense. That's first responders who operate under the Hamas-run government. Advance voting is underway in the federal by-election for a Montreal riding. The battle for LaSalle-Émard-Verdun is shaping up to be a 3-way contest between the Liberal Party of Canada, the Bloc Québécois, and the New Democratic Party. The riding has been considered a Liberal stronghold, but following the grit surprise loss of the Toronto-St. Paul by-election earlier this summer, many political watchers are refusing to predict an outcome. The head of the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs will lie in state at the provincial legislature in Winnipeg. Grand Chief Kathy Merrick died suddenly this week after collapsing during a media conference with reporters. Manitoba Premier Wab Kinew says Merrick's family and the leadership of her home community, the Pimicikamak Cree Nation, were consulted on the plan. Kinew adds that Merrick did a tremendous service to all people in Manitoba, and he wants all Manitobans to appreciate that. Nearly 7 weeks after a massive evacuation order, the Jasper wildfire has been declared under control.
The change in status means the fire has been suppressed to the point it won't spread outside its perimeter. But Jasper National Park's campgrounds and many trails remain closed. A Parks Canada official says reopening them will require crews being able to ensure those areas are safe from trees weakened by the fire. There's also a good chance smoke and flames will remain visible inside Jasper's fire area right into the early winter. Jason White, The Canadian Press.
And evacuations were expanded as a wildfire with leaping flames scorched the foothills of the San Bernardino National Forest east of Los Angeles. As of yesterday afternoon, the so-called line fire had charred at least 28 square kilometers. Now, this comes amid a days-long heat wave that pushed temperatures across the region upwards of 38 degrees Celsius. However, a cool-headed evacuee, Dave Cracker, says he's lived in the area for 40 years.
I don't get too alarmed. They always take pretty good care of us.
No injuries were reported, and no homes or other structures have been damaged or destroyed. About 500 firefighters were battling the blaze, supported by water-dropping helicopters. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, a Saturday CFL triple-header saw Edmonton, Ottawa, and Winnipeg all notch wins. The Elks moved out of the West Basement with a 37-16 win over the visiting Calgary Stampeders. The Red Blacks moved 3 points back of the East Division leading Montreal Alouettes, posting a 41-27 victory over the visiting Toronto Argonauts. And the Blue Bombers gained a share of first place in the West Division with a 26-21 Banjo Bowl win over the visiting Saskatchewan Roughriders. In the other type of football, that'd be Major League Soccer, the Vancouver Whitecaps couldn't take advantage of some early chances and were forced to settle for a 0-0 draw against FC Dallas. In the Canadian Premier League, Forge topped Cavalry 2-1, while the Pacific blanked the Wanderers 3-0. And in some interleague MLB action, Spencer Horwitz homered twice as the visiting Toronto Blue Jays beat Atlanta 9-5, knocking the Braves out of the final NL wildcard berth. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.